story of when I first bought my truck. I drove to Christchurch with my daughter in the van that we had, and it had a mattress, and we'd been kind of cruising around in that a little bit. And I seen this gypsy truck for sale in Christchurch, and I managed to get a loan from my local bank to buy a house truck. I don't know how. And I drove to Christchurch and bought this truck, and my daughter was about 6 months old, drove this truck back to Balclutha, which I thought I could do in a day, and it took me 2 days. That was my first lesson in truck driving. Ended up having to stay at a friend's house halfway because I couldn't make it through the night with this kid. And because the house was empty and there was nothing in it, so we stayed with a friend, and then we carried on south the next day. I knew that there was things that would have to be done to it to get it on the road, to get ready to travel with the Gypsy Fair, which was a group of travellers travelling around New Zealand selling craft. And I had joined, so I was looking for a vehicle, and I'd gotten this vehicle and I'd driven it home, and it needed quite a few things to be up to scratch. It was pretty bad. It leaked. It was just bad. And when I pulled up outside my mother's house, she was horrified that I was going to stick her granddaughter in it. But anyhow, I was worked out that it was going to go to the builders, and so I was driving it to the builders. I'd only ever driven this truck from Christchurch to here. I knew nothing about truck driving. I didn't even have a license at that stage, and nothing was legal on it. So I thought, well, I'll go around the bottom way, and so I did, and I went through a tunnel. And I did not know about heights then. Oh my God, I don't even want to tell this story because I keep getting really shitty whenever it gets brought up by anybody. And now I'm going to tell everybody. But because of my inexperience, I drove through this tunnel and took the back off the truck, the whole house. So the back end of the house was gone, the bathroom, my daughter's loft. And it made this big ka-dong noise, and I fucking knew, and I was just like, oh no. I managed to pull over, and I look out, and the whole back end of the truck is just strewn across the road. And walked around the back of the truck to look at it and realised that half the truck was gone. So I managed to drive it before the cops come because I had no license, no insurance. And I managed to get it all off the road and someone helped me again. Tony always needs help. And I managed to park it undercover at a friend's business. And from there, I had a rebuild of the back end of the truck, which wasn't expected, but things needed to be done, so hey, well, whatever. And I got it all done in 3 months, and I packed my daughter into this truck, and we drove to the centre of the North Island, which was a really long way. My mother was terrified. I'd got an A-frame built, and I towed the van, which carried all my stock. I was 15 metres long. I managed to get my licence about 3 days prior to when I was going. There was no seatbelts in the truck because it was legal to have a truck like that. My mother was horrified that my daughter was bouncing all around the inside of the cab. She pulled all the stickers off the window screen, so when I actually arrived onto the fair in Taupo, I had no stickers, and they just actually could not believe that I'd driven all that way with a toddler and never got pulled up, anything, and I made it. I set up on my first day. I was so exhausted, and managed to have a stall set up, and my daughter started running around, and we had finally made it to the fair. So that's what happened when I first bought my truck. Okay, bye. Okay, this is what it looked like when I got out and looked at it on the side of the road. This whole top bit was gone and all that was out on the road. Don't know if you can see this one. This is in the shed that I took it to, and you can see that there's bugger all left of it, and that's the side view of it. So this part up here was her loft, and this is the bathroom, and this is where I parked it for while it got a new build. This is what it would look like in the inside when I bought it. Like, it was rough. That's my loft. It had no lining, nothing. This is me leaving on the first day. The first time I'd driven north to the Gypsies. It's a snowstorm. It was hailing at 6 in the morning. Here's me. I'm crying because I'm leaving, and so here's my daughter. Can't believe I was that brave.